Trust a Zombie, Chapter 7, Your Neck. Rachel looks back out the front window and rotates in the seat so she is facing her body forward as well. She settles into the seat. I do the same. Rotate around and face forward, trying to make sense of what I just heard. Zombies. There are no such thing as zombies, are there? This is too outlandish. It sounds like a movie. She's messing with me. The whole stop the car thing and then telling me she's a zombie. I don't believe it. She's playing a game. It's gotta be that, right? You're a zombie? I finally say. Rachel answers simply, yes. You're joking with me, right? You did a great job. I almost believed you. You should believe me. It's true. But I can see how you wouldn't believe me. Zombies don't exist in real life. That's what I've been telling myself for years. But here I am. She's still looking out the window, totally blank. So you are telling me that you are dead. Right now, you are dead, I ask. Correct. Rachel turns her head to face me. Our eyes lock. She reaches over, again with her right arm, and grabs my hand, gripping around my index and middle fingers. She guides my fingertips to her neck. Check for a pulse. I laugh, but realize she is dead serious. I even think in puns. Okay, I say. She lets go of my hand and I touch my fingers to her neck, just below her jaw. I don't feel anything. I move my fingers around slightly, searching for a pulse. Her skin doesn't feel dead. Now that I know what a corpse's skin, not that I know what a corpse's skin would feel like, or a zombie's for that matter. Her skin is soft and warm, not at all what I'd expect from a living dead girl. She doesn't smell putrid either. TV and movies have either lied to me about what zombies are, or she is lying to me right now. Did I actually just have that thought? I can't find a pulse, so I reach the other side of her neck. She waits patiently. I don't feel a pulse, but that doesn't mean you're dead, I say. Check my wrist. She holds up her right hand. I check her wrist and again don't feel a pulse. Nothing. I told you so. Rachel relaxes a little bit. I'm sorry. I don't like being a zombie and talking about it brings me down. I'm telling you the truth, though. I guess technically I'm not a zombie, at least not a Hollywood zombie, but the result is the same. I died. My parents died. Several other people my mom worked with and their families all died. The CDC calls it viral reanimation. The virus stops the heart and circulatory system. It invades cells, essentially making the body a static collection of cells, meaning they never change. Then the body starts living again, but not in the same way. They still haven't figured out how the virus does it. This is why they were testing it. If they can figure it out, it essentially cures everything from cancer to old age. The only downside is that it kills all living things, all the ones they've tested with that. All the ones they've tested with, at least. Goofy phrasing there. So, all right. We don't lose our personalities and become mindless drones intent on killing and eating our victims, like in the movies, because who we are exists in our brains and the millions of neural connections that exist there. The virus animates those connections, and we think and feel the same way we always have. We can even learn, although it does seem more difficult sometimes. The scientists working on this, my mom's team, and now those that picked it up in the aftermath can't figure it out. They can observe what happens after infection, but they can't figure out how it happens. I'm starting to believe what she is telling me, as outlandish as it is. Her story makes sense in theory. But zombies? I say, so you are a zombie, but you aren't going to eat my brain? Raising an eyebrow, Rachel says, empty calories. We have a good laugh, but I turn serious again with some more questions. Did the CDC send you here? Yes. After a few weeks of quarantine, they determined the threat of contagion to be limited to blood or heavy concentrations of saliva and stuff. Really, it's only barely more contagious than HIV. They thought about classifying us all as HIV positive and letting us go about our business as usual, but decided against it. There were 6 others infected in total, 2 older men and then the other family. All wound up in the same reanimated situation. The father in that family was on my mom's team. His wife and 2 sons were infected in the same way my dad and I were. After they all reanimated and the dust cleared, when they knew they were zombies, the father killed them all by poisoning their food. Kill the virus, stop the reanimation. He couldn't handle the implications of the situation. The other 2, Frank and Mark, both moved here with us. Why to Cranston, I ask. Because it's out of the way. We had a historical tie to the area, and the slaughterhouse provides something we need. What? I say in a slow, drawn out, almost comical way. Comical if my imagination wasn't spinning wildly. I told you we aren't zombies like in movies, where we're slow moving and constantly decaying, focused on only one thing, eating human brains. We aren't like that, but we do eat brains. We need to eat brains. The virus metabolizes brain matter best. It is what the researchers initially found in the cases of the virus in nature, that the infected animals would primarily eat brains, usually of their own species if they weren't carnivores or omnivores already, likely because those were the brains they had easier access to. Those also were observed they also were observed to eat the brains of animals they normally hunted. Herbivores can't sustain the virus as well because they aren't as equipped physically for killing animals and eating their brains. I never cared for the science behind it. It was hard enough just to accept that I needed to eat brains. The virus helps out, though. It creates some type of craving for brains. I don't understand it. I don't have any desire to kill anyone in order to eat their brain, but I do crave brain. Hence the slaughterhouse. The CDC thought it was the perfect cover for the reanimates. That's their official name for the five of us. When cattle are slaughtered for human consumption, the brains are usually discarded or sold for animal feed filler. Our slaughterhouse follows the discard method, but we don't discard to incinerators or biolandfills. It's really not that outlandish that we eat brains. Only mostly. She laughs. We joke about being vegetarian zombies because we don't eat human brains, only cow brains. She laughs again. That doesn't make any sense, I say. You're still eating part of an animal. That's not vegetarian at all. My comment stops her laughter. She tries to clarify. Right, but the story is that zombies eat human brains, and we don't, so we aren't stereotypical carnivore zombies. I get that, but I don't think vegetarian works. Hollywood zombies aren't just carnivores, they're cannibals. You aren't cannibals, but you are still carnivores. If you called yourselves cannibals, Bulls, instead of cannibals, then I think that would work. Rachel screws up her face to think about it. Hmm. Fine. I guess you're right. Maybe I'll suggest that tonight. Of course, I'll have to take all credit for it if they like it, as they can't know that you know. I raised my arms and placed my hands behind my head, fingers interlocked, affecting a high level of self satisfaction. I'm not in it for the glory. My satisfaction comes by way of knowing that proper functional communication is being used, I say. Anyway, Rachel continues, when the old family slaughterhouse was remembered and the idea suggested, the people in charge thought it was a great plan and everything was arranged. Cranston's population increased by 5, and so far our secret has remained secret. As far as I know, I'm the first to break the silence. That's intense. Funny that I'm not absolutely horrified by what I'm hearing. Rachel has just told me that zombies exist and that she is one of them. She is dead and carries in her a virus that could make me dead. And yet I sit a foot or two away from her and joke about what to call a non-human brain eating zombie. I can understand the secrecy, I guess, but if there is a scientific explanation for it all, why not go public? Why do you have to be hidden away somewhere and not explain it? I'm not freaking out. It makes sense, and I understand it. I think people in general would as well. Rachel says, I've never really thought about it. They told us how it had to be, and given the nature of the circumstances, either we were too caught up in the shock of it all to question, or maybe at the time it just seemed like the best option. Then the routine just took over. Maybe it has to do with how our brains operate now, given that we aren't exactly 100% in that regard. Maybe. So are you all under arrest in some way? I mean, is it like the witness relocation program where you have CDC agents supervising you and making sure you don't tell the world who you really are? Are they trying to cover this up? It didn't seem like it was an error on their part, just an accident, albeit a very serious one. Rachel sighs. Well, they weren't doing anything wrong, but this whole project was very secretive. They weren't ready to tell the world that there was a real zombie virus. They were afraid of how the public would react, or even other scientists. When they concluded it, when what they concluded is that we'll remain for a long time in exactly the state we are now, so long as we feed the virus. I interrupt. And the virus only wants brains. Is that why I haven't seen you eat anything else? No. Well, yes and no. The virus needs brain matter to live. I don't really need to eat anything else because my cells don't degenerate, sort of. Cells can be damaged, and then they do regenerate, but slowly. In general, though, cells don't die of old age. Does that make sense? Somehow the immune system still works. We can eat and all that digestive stuff still works, but we don't really need to, and certainly not as certainly not as much as you need to. So we eat other foods with the brains, but honestly, I can go more than a few days without eating anything else and be fine. We do need to drink water, though. The virus can become dehydrated, and that could lead to death. Absolutely fascinating, I interject. When you were sick last week, what was that about? Can you still get the flu or a cold or something? So far, the only type of sickness we've gotten is when we don't eat enough brain and the virus gets weak. Every once in a while, our slaughtering frequency slows down and there are fewer brains for us to eat. We have some frozen and all that, but occasionally the supply runs down and we get weak. It's not a big deal, really. That's less fascinating and more gross now, I say. Understandable. As you can imagine, I don't have many friends over to the house, and I'm not really excited about spending a lot of time at other people's houses. Today was an exception. Trent told me you were kind of private. That's putting it nicely. I've been outright cold to some people, just because I didn't know how to handle all of this stuff. I think you're doing fine handling it right now, I say. Yeah, but I've broken the only rule we have. The CDC doesn't have anyone living here to monitor us, getting back to your previous question, but they do keep tabs on us. It's a point of contention, but they send spies out occasionally to pose as tourists and try to find out if anyone in town knows anything about us, she explains. They don't want you telling the secret, or they don't want you infecting other people. I ask. Both, probably. But there really isn't much danger of us infecting anyone. We all stay away from living people pretty well, as far as in situations where the virus can be communicated. My parents have each other. Frank and Mark are old and have a lab set up where they work on things for the CDC occasionally, along with still studying this virus and its effects on us. They are happy to be reclusive. I don't think the town even knows they exist. I'm the real concern for the CDC. Not only am I the only one with any social interests, I'm also enrolled in school and have the potential to seek intimate relationships, posing a risk for viral communication. It was a bit of a struggle to get them to permit me to attend public school. You are on a kind of probation. House arrest in a way. That's rough. I don't know what else to say. Given the circumstances, saying anything is pretty impressive. It hasn't been too bad, but it has been bad enough. For the first year after getting here, I struggled to find the right social approach and ended up developing a reputation as being unfriendly and strange. When you reached out to me, I saw an opportunity to start a fresh friendship, one that wasn't tainted by the rumors and reputation. Apparently, I wasn't fast enough to beat the rumors, but hopefully, I've at least given you reason not to believe them. Now it's my turn to laugh. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy that you wanted to be my friend, and I'm really happy that you trust me enough to tell me all of this, and I'll keep it a secret. But I have to say, it's funny that you think you have given me a reason not to believe you are strange. I watch Rachel's face as she processes what I just said, and it is apparent that when she makes the connection. Okay, that is funny. In my effort to squash the rumors of my being strange, I confess to you that I am a zombie. Yeah, I think that's what YouTube would call an epic fail, I say. Indeed. I have another question for you. What's that? How much danger is there of me catching this virus from you? Not that I'm going to start wearing latex gloves or a hazmat suit, unless you know of a place that sells them cheap. Just kidding. I'm not afraid of catching it, but I'm curious. You seem to get anxious over the paper cut and still haven't moved that hand anywhere near me since. How contagious is it? If my blood gets into your blood, then you will likely develop the virus. However, the transfer would have to happen within about 12 hours. Otherwise, the virus would die in open air or whatever. My blood is thick, so I can keep tabs on where it is pretty well. Also, I avoid as many bloodletting activities as I can. There's always the risk of catastrophic accident, but the CDC relies on statistics and doesn't expect that the five of us in this small town pose that much of a threat in that regard. Okay, so as long as I don't go vampire in you and drink your blood, then we should be all right, I ask. As far as I know. Not that vampires are real, right? I ask with a heavy influence of snarkiness. As far as I know, Rachel says with a smile. She then reaches over with her right hand again and grabs mine. Thank you for listening to me and not freaking out. I'm sorry I chose you to tell this to, but I had to tell someone. I don't mean I'm sorry I chose you, but I'm sorry that you have to be the one to learn about all of this. And I didn't just choose you because you were new in the area. Maybe I did, but I've moved past that and I'm happy with how this is turning out. I'm glad you told me, but I think I'm even more glad that you're glad that you chose me to be the one to tell. I'm also happy how this is turning out, except the part about you being dead. That's really a crushing bummer, but I'm glad that you are reanimated. Thanks, she says. We should probably get moving again. Mom does worry about me when I'm out, especially alone with a boy. That's probably not all zombie related worry either, although it certainly does compound it. Hopefully you can just drop me off and not have to talk to anyone. It might be hard to it might be hard to hide the fact that you know all of this now, at least so soon after hearing about it. Right, that might be tough. I can loop around past your house and then on the way by again, slow to a crawl, and you can jump out onto your lawn. I'll never even have to stop. Great idea, let's do that, she agrees. Luckily, we don't have to do any extreme maneuvers when we get to her house. No one is in the yard, so I pull into the driveway, but stop about halfway up at Rachel's request. This is a good rural Texas driveway, long and dusty. We should do this again sometime, I say. Confess reality bending secrets? Rachel asks. Sure, I say, picking up on her farce. Tomorrow I can tell you how I'm really Superman. Tomorrow after school, you mean? I think that would work for me, she says. That wasn't exactly what I meant, but I'm happy about it. Yeah, tomorrow after school. We'll talk some more. Okay, thanks again for listening to me and being understanding. I'll see you in the morning. Bye. You got it. Good night, I say. She closes the car door and jogs up the driveway to the house. I watch her go, and as she opens the front door, I slide the shifter to reverse, throw my right arm over the passenger headrest, and back down the driveway. The end of that chapter. I was a day late on posting this, so if you're watching regularly, I apologize. I just forgot. Yesterday was busy, and I forgot it was Tuesday. So next Tuesday, chapter whatever's next. 8? I already forgot. Chapter 8, Delirium Disorder. All right. Thanks for listening. Bye.